funny because I'm working from home and it's a little goofy, but I think we got this. I think it's going to work. So really excited to start this, and also the fact that I get to just keep doing some of the art on my kitchen table here, which is actually my other table, but I just moved some stuff in here to give me a little bit more room into the dining room. So yeah, so we're streaming this on Instagram. Hey, you guys, nice to see you. We're streaming it into the Art to Life Facebook page, which is there, right there. So that's cool.
Kitchen table art
let me just turn that off. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Okay, and oh no, hold on a second here. Boy.
I think you turned it off, Nick. I can't hear it anymore.
Yeah, no, but I need to I need the actual live. I clicked on the wrong live. So hold on 1 second, folks. Okay. Yep, that's going. Okay, cool. Let me turn that up. All right. Oh, okay. Welcome everyone. Andy, good to see you here. Yeah, so I'm streaming from my dining room off my kitchen. David, good to see you here. Mary, and Judy Shrev, Lorraine, James, hi everybody. So I'm gonna start this. I called up some friends who are also, we're all just kind of isolating. And I'm just gonna pull them on right now. So who do we got here on the call? Can you wanna come on? Let me just get this over here. Hold on a second. Okay.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, so awesome. So you guys, this is Terry, painter who works with me in Art to Life. And who else do we got here?
Hello.
Hey, this is Jane, also an artist, and Stacy, and awesome, and let's see, and Margaret. Hey, Margaret.
Hey there. Hi, everyone.
So what I thought I'd do is I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna just share my camera here, and I'm gonna try and set it up for you guys on Instagram so you can see what I'm working on. I'm just gonna be doing a little painting to start, and then when that starts to drying, we're gonna be looking at what everyone else is doing, and we'll be answering questions and all of that. So so great to see everyone. Awesome. I hope you guys are working on something right now. If you want, it's fun to be doing that. The reason I sort of thought of this is because one of the best things, one of the most fun things that I get to do is, when we have these workshops and we're just making art after a couple days, and everyone's relaxed and they're having a fun time, and we're just making art and we're just talking. And it's pretty much the best thing. So that's kind of what I'm trying to create here, is just checking in with people, and they're making art or they're listening and sharing stuff, and just killing time, because we all have pretty much of that right now. So cool, awesome. Okay, so let me share my screen and see if I got this working. I set up a whole nother camera. And let me know in the Facebook comments if you can see this okay, because I know I decided to have this view with a few people on it. It's gonna make this picture kind of small. So let me know if you can see that okay, because Margaret's saying, hi, feeling baby squirrel while watching. Ellie, nice to see you here. All right, so we've got a lot of different people watching. There's people from just all over. This is really a thing for everybody. There's a lot of the bigger Art to Life community here that's participating, because they follow the Facebook feed or whatever, or a lot of people from the Art to Life artists group. There's a bunch of people from the Art to Life Academy program. And there's probably some people who are in the middle of doing the Creative Visionary program that we're working on that right now. And so, but everyone's welcome, and it's just awesome to have everyone here. And again, we're streaming this into Instagram, and we're streaming it on our Art to Life YouTube channel. So if you want to have a bigger view of this, you can look there or go on the Facebook group. Or the Facebook, yeah, it's streaming in the Facebook group, but it's streaming on the Art to Life Facebook page. Bonnie, hi from Santa Cruz. Awesome. Art Shahs from Hungary, welcome. So, okay, so I'm just gonna start a little bit. I'm working on, and everyone's gonna sort of say what they're working on. And so I'm working on this picture. This is a experimental board that I was doing in the Creative Visionary program the other day. I was just demonstrating playing around with paint. And this is how I like to start my paintings. And what I'm working on right now, I'm using acrylic paint, and I'm just gonna put the first coat on. And then I'm gonna, while that's drying, we're gonna float around and see what everyone else is making, and then I'll kind of come back. But I got a lot of stuff to share for you guys. I've got some, I've been cleaning out cabinets because I've had extra time and I've been finding things. I found this children's book that I did a long time ago I want to show you guys. And I found a painting of my dad's that I want to share with you. So I got a whole bunch of stuff to share with you. And I know other people do as well. Plus I also have a bunch of pictures because people have been posting on Instagram and in the Art to Life Facebook group using the hashtag Kitchen Table Art Project. And so I've got a bunch of pictures of what people have been working on and what their tables look like, and they're all set up in different places. Some people are outside, some people are on their patios, you know. So let me, just looking for a brush here. Okay, so again, what I'm working on is acrylic paint on board. And, you know, for those of you who have never done a workshop with me, I teach and I love painting on wood, you know. So, and what I like doing is I love experimenting. I have a whole bunch of boards where I just make a big mess and then I just start painting on them. So, and I kind of cover stuff up and everything. So that's kind of what I'm doing right here. And I want to make sure you guys can kind of see that. Sorry, Instagram folks, let me just get this little better view. There we go. I think that's pretty good. It's hard to, let's see, how's that? Anyway, so this is, yeah, okay. That's pretty good. Yeah, so anyway, I like to just paint really thick paint, and I tend to do a lot of bold kind of colors when I start, and then I tend to kind of cover stuff up. And so that's what I'm doing now. At this stage, I'm just kind of covering things up and putting some other colors on and some other things. And I'll be working on this over the next hour, probably while people are talking. I'm just going to keep working on it, so you'll kind of see it as it evolves. This is a board, again, I was saying that I demonstrated as an experiment. I like to figure things out as I go. I don't really like to have a lot of plan. I mean, I've done it where I make work where I have a plan, but lately I just like experimenting pretty much as long as I can. The paint I'm using is this Art to Life paint. This is our paint, and really it's just good quality acrylic. But the thing about it, the cool thing about it is that we mix some of our own colors. So I've got some kind of custom colors, but it's pretty much like any other acrylic paint, but we do have some custom colors that I like. So what I'm doing is I just get a lot of paint on here. Can you guys in Instagram see that okay? Let me know if that's, yeah, you can kind of see that. Awesome. Awesome, okay. So when I posted, you know, the question or the topic that I was interested in talking about today was like, or the theme was, you know, what does this time make possible for us? You know, like we're all isolated, but we have more time, and it's really stressful in many ways, and it's super hard. But if we can think about kind of the silver lining of this time, it's pretty cool. Like there's some good stuff here. And so that's what we're going to be talking about a little today, but we're not stuck talking about that. It's just something that I thought it was helpful for me to think about that. And one of the things that, that I have been thinking about and what this time is making possible for me is, God, I've been cleaning stuff up and I've been alone a lot. And I've just been really thinking a lot about my friends and my family. And normally I'm just really busy, but because I'm not as busy, I'm thinking about them a lot. And, my father was a painter, and he, he passed a couple years ago, and I've been, as I said, going through boxes and finding pictures, and I have a painting of his here, and it's just interesting to sort of see the history. And it's all like when I was a kid and all the stuff that I was thinking of doing when I was a little kid, but starting to see how, upon reflecting now, how what I'm making was really seen early on. Like I was always making art, but what I was making has a lot to do with what I'm making now, even though it's so totally different. And it's just very cool to see that and appreciate that and sort of integrate, in a way, my art more with who I was as a kid. Like I'm seeing it more in perspective. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm seeing it more like, oh, that's why I make this kind of work, and that's why I like nature, and that's why I did these kids' books, and my dad used to say these certain things, and I'm looking at work and things that influenced me because I have time, and it's giving me some clarity about what I'm doing moving forward, which is kind of amazing. And it's just, I would not have been thinking about this stuff if it hadn't been for this time, and just really appreciating that, and just really wanting my art to be almost more personal, like, and that's what's cool about this call today, we just make art, we're artists, but we're all doing it. And I feel so much more connected to artists, especially now. It's just kind of interesting. So that's just been the past couple of days. When I made that post, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was more thinking about it on a bigger scale. Like, what am I gonna, am I gonna write this? I'm working on this book right now, and I've got to get the book proposal done. And it's like, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what's gonna come out of this time. And I hope it does. That's my plan. But this newer thing of just sort of remembering, my family, and my mother, and like, in this children's book just really kind of struck me because I illustrated it, and I found the book, and the book, I had given it to my mother, and I wrote a note in it to her, and she passed last year. And I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. So one thing I like to do, I'm just going to share with you on this picture. I like to, so this is all got a lot of wet paint on here right now. And so there's not a lot I can do because it's still real wet. But what I'd like to do before I leave it is I put some strong darks on it. This is just my, what I like to do. So I'm doing that. And then this will be drawing while we'll hop on over and see Terry and see what she's working on. I'm trying to look here in the Facebook group. Nice to see you. Yeah, hi everyone. Nancy, good to see everyone.
Nick,
yeah,
can you hear me?
fun. Yeah.
I just want to pop in here. People are asking in Facebook if they can see, maybe not now, but just maybe a peek of what everyone else is working on from time to time.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that in just a second. Okay.
Be patient.
So, I'm just getting this done, and then we're going to hop on over. So I just want to get this done here. Okay, so that's where that is now. So let's, Terry, are you, do you want to share your screen? And then, or no, what do I do here?
No, I can just hold it up. So
No,
I'm,
you can tip your, yeah, okay, that's good.
oh, it's better to hold it up, I think.
Okay.
So I'm kind of working on a couple of things at once. And I don't work on paper very often, and this is probably why, because it's horrible.
Great.
But
Oh,
but I also used to do a lot of photography. So these are kind of like pieces of my photography, and I haven't touched them in years. So this has kind of been a time for me to get some old stuff out. So I was painting first, and then I thought maybe I would add some of my photography into
Oh,
this
can you push that
piece.
closer to the camera?
Sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Beautiful.
Yeah, maybe it goes like, I'm not sure where it's going yet, but yeah, I'm not really used to working on paper, so I thought I would do a little challenge. Maybe it's more color in the middle. This is a photograph of an old car that rusted, and a pink car that was painted pink, and then it rusted, and it's a pretty cool photograph. But
Or is that gouache underneath that you're using, or acrylic?
no, just acrylic and some pencil and some grease pencils and pencil, and yeah, just acrylic paint. So I mean, I just started it, so I haven't really played too much with it, but it's paper is challenging. And then I'm working on a couple of pieces of wood also. So this is one work in progress here.
Right.
So I kind of do a couple of things at once, like you've always talked about, Nick, and then another one which the colors need to be adjusted, but that's just another one I'm working on. But I find the paper to be really challenging.
Why the paper is challenging? I sort of agree. Is it just because it's like it warps and stuff, like?
I think so. And because it just absorbs all the paint, it's not
Yeah.
like that surface where you can smush it around and do, paint over paint. It's just that it takes a little bit time to dry, and it wrinkles. So I'm just playing with that. But it's been kind of one of my goals to journal and do paintings in a journal, but it's challenging for me.
Yeah. Yeah, right, totally. So what is your thoughts on this thing of like this time? What is it doing for you, or what do you think is going to be what's the silver lining right now for you?
Yeah, I think that this is really a time to, reset, reboot, reconnect, hold your family tight, and just, work on, the things that you really have kind of or not work on them, but the things that you've put off or been so busy and just haven't just slammed on the brakes and said, stop, just slow down a little bit. So I think for me, it's probably slowing down and digging deeper. And I think that, a lot of people are suffering, but I think, when we come through this, I think that it will be, I don't know, my hope is that it's going to be a much better place for everyone when we come through this.
It's like a massive, like go to your room and just stop rushing around,
Yeah. And I've actually kind of just liked settling in my house and really, taking the warnings and everything very seriously. And it's been a good thing. And yeah.
Who's there? Who are you who's in your house with you?
Yeah. So I have my two kids are here. One lives with me right now, but the other one lives in San Francisco, and he's here with his girlfriend and his cat. So we're all hunkered down together and meal planning, and you do, I cooked, you clean, okay, you cook tomorrow, what's your plan, so, and it's kind of interesting with 4 people, you don't realize how much food you need, or toilet paper, which is the big word right now, but I mean, it was just me, it was going to be like, oh, I need a few things, but now it's like, but it's been a great experience, because it's just, the conversations are so good, and it's just a really, like I said, a time to hold your family close. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's see how about you, Stacy? What's tell everyone where you're from. And
Well, Sacramento, California originally, but I'm in Salt Lake City. And we just had an earthquake last week, a couple of them on top of all of this. And I've just been navigating after being so busy, just like everybody else, with classes canceled and things on your schedule, and all of a sudden having all this free time. and wanting to be thoughtful about it. And I don't know about you guys, but I dance between being in a space of being really present, like hyper present, and also this place of disassociation of kind of watching everything from the outside. But I've been working on my kitchen table actually for a couple of years now. I've got my studio practice, and then at home, I call them my high-waisted drawings. But it's just a place to come home and work and maybe have a glass of wine and just relax and play on paper, because I'm not used to working small either, Terry, or on paper, but I love paper. And so I've got most of the materials I'm working with are dry materials, except for gouache. And then I've got, I've got these like small acrylics, the golden acrylics like this, but mostly gouache. And do you want me to show you all the stuff I'm using?
Sure. And you have a studio, a bigger studio too, right? So this
yeah,
is
I have two studios. So I'm a full-time instructor and painter and sculptor, and I've got two studios: a sculpting studio and a painting studio. And then and I am actually able to go to my studio, because even though there's 50 other artists there, kind of like you guys have at ICB, most of the artists aren't going to my studio. So I have one door to go into, and I'm being thoughtful about it, but I'm basically going between here and my studio. And spending a lot of time at home, cleaning my kitchen cabinets, cleaned out all my books, got all my, I had this idea to put all my journals together, because I have all these journals that I've had since I was 15. And I thought, and some of them are full and some of them aren't. And so I've got them on a pile in my living room, and I'm gonna kind of start going through those. We're not on lockdown like you guys are yet.
really?
But no, but kind of treating it like that though, because I read something yesterday where people they're requesting for, mentioning to just kind of assume that you're, not to go dark, but just assume that you might be contagious, so that just to be responsible for a couple, however long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You had the earthquake. You just had an earthquake.
we had an earthquake.
Oh,
Hopefully there's no locust on the way, or a flood, but I think it was like last Tuesday. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really sure what day it is, but
It was Monday. It was last Monday, because I was supposed to fly through there.
Oh, was it Monday?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a 5.7. And that in itself, it felt like it lasted for 30 minutes, but it was 20 seconds. And then that was nerve-wracking in itself. But then there were all these aftershocks, like 100 of them. And three or four that day were 4.0s.
oh my God.
Yeah, I went to my studio to get my computer like in the afternoon, and this 4.0 hit, and I have my paints on my shelves, and they started falling off, and the whole building did a wave. So
Hey, guys, sorry to interrupt, but we're getting a few comments from people on Facebook saying that they're having difficulty seeing what everyone's working on. So could those of you, unless you have something to share, could you turn your camera off? And then Nick, we also need you to switch your camera back to what you're actually working on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You want to see what I'm working on? I can stop
so
talking about the earthquake.
Yeah. So maybe what we'll do is
I think you can nominate people, Nick. If you say like, hey, let's see what Margaret is working on, for example. And then, oh, Margaret, if you just turn your camera off right there.
Okay. Do you want me to show you? Do you want me to?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll just have like me and then the person we'll just do it that way. So the screen looks bigger. Does that work better, you guys?
Yeah, this is better. And then, Margaret, if you could just turn your camera off.
And let me say, for you guys on Instagram, there's no way we can share. If you want to see who I'm talking to and see what they're working on, you got to look on the Facebook, go to the Facebook page or the YouTube Art to Life YouTube channel, because all you get is this view. But that's, because that's all we can do. So,
Okay, so Ferris, is it better, or Nick, is it better if I hold up like this? Or is it better, can people see better if I do, oh, you don't have my screen. Oh yeah, if I do that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that good?
both are fine, yeah. And the screens are now big enough so people can see this. This is good.
Okay, so I'll just talk about it because I can't really see it. I can see it a little bit, but what I've been doing is I kind of figured out conceptually that I'm taking papers and things that I have that I've done in with jelly plates, and that I have just stacks of them like this, and then I'm problem solving with them and bringing them home and trying to just work on those.
Can you put that one closer to the camera, that red one?
Sure. Can you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
What is that, acrylic? Are those acrylic?
well, no, they're, let's see. Well, the red is acrylic, but I'm using a combination of these great, you know, the Neo colors that are water-based.
Oh, wait, Neo colors? What is that? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think they're the Carnage.
Oh, that's like crayon things.
Yeah, and so these are really fun because they're dry when you do this, like you can, and then when you hit them with a little bit of water, they bleed.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then when they dry, you let them dry, and then you can go on top of them. So I'm using those, and these are really cool. They're Tempera paint markers.
Wow.
So they're kind of waxy. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And look, they've got quite a bit of pigment. They're super cheap, but they've got quite a bit of pigment, but you can layer them. Like you can let them dry. And then you can go in and like mush them or like carve through them.
And they dry pretty quick?
Yeah, they dry pretty quick. Yeah. So I'm kind of a process junkie. So I'm learning a lot, like just figuring out, I'm doing some collage where I'm taking, you know, all these, I have boxes of stuff that I've used that I'm, you know, just bringing home, and not trying to really put aside my judgmental brain and just play. What else am I using? I think you use these too. These are art crayons.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're like lipstick.
Those are great.
Yeah, they're really fun.
Tell everyone what the brand is of those. I forget.
They're these are art crayon mixed media, and they're Maraby, Maraby.
Okay.
So those are really slick too. I don't use those as much as the Tempera, but I've been liking them a lot. And then there's, oh, I've got lots of stuff. And then I have this Collage Book. So I love nice paper, right? This is a company called, I can't pronounce it, KHADI Papers. And it's handmade watercolor paper. And so this started as just a drawing, and then I started collaging and drawing into it. That's just the cover. And then I'm just starting a scrapbook, because like Terry, I've always had it in my mind to do a scrapbook, and I never make a sketchbook where I never take the time. Right. So
yeah, that's cool.
So that's really fun. And then let's see, let me show you these two. Here, hold on. So these are Artes. Is that how you pronounce it?
Uh-huh.
Have you seen these?
Yeah, I have.
So these are watercolor in a pen with a and you can dip I don't think it works as well if you dip them.
You just use it straight.
Yeah, just different mark making materials that I can experiment with. You know.
Yeah.
I do have to show you this one though, because this was my reaction. You see that?
Whoa. Wow, man.
So I started with just magic markers. And one of the things that my boyfriend comes over, he just lives a couple blocks away. And we do these drawings where I'll start something and then I'll give it to him and vice versa, or we just put it in between us and we both work on it at the same time. And I have some friends that did that last night. They just, you know, at home, they're in isolation. Everybody starts with a doodle and then they pass it to the right and then everybody doodles on top of that and just go full circle. And super fun way to just relax and be creative.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. So what's your, you know, have you had some sort of, I don't know, just the thoughts about what you're going to do in this time, or what could be some good outcomes for you, or?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I went through or maybe I'm still going through it, the panic of everybody teaching online. And I think there are those people like you that do it really well. And I'm trying to not have that kind of thought process right now. I'm trying to slow it down. And when I'm in my studio, I'm working a little bit slower and being more thoughtful about what I'm doing and the problem solving instead of being on that treadmill of getting things done. You know, I don't have any shows in front of me, and
Yeah.
I don't have any classes in front of me, and that'll happen. And I'm trying to be in that space of trust that I'm not really sure what will come out of this, but you know, out of something like this, creativity, you know, creativity likes variety, and this is certainly a variation from our daily life.
Were you just feeling stressful because people were teaching online and you feel like you need to do that, but you don't know how to do that yet? Is that like?
Yeah, it's like, you know, I FaceTime for the first time this morning, and it's like, once you do it, you know, you get comfortable with it. But yeah, creating a class, so many people are doing that online and giving it for free and charging for it. And I think that's wonderful. And, but I just kind of feel like I need to be a little bit more introverted and more reflective
Right now, yeah.
right now, and trust that will come out in a way, and see what floats to the top instead of being reactionary.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even in my work, and yeah, see what floats to the top. And in my work, and the bigger work I'm doing in the studio, I love the what if mind. And you know, what if I put collage on this? What if I cover this up? What if I sand this down? And I'm just letting myself have the freedom to just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Well, it's like there's a lot of, it's just having to do things for the first time, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, it's always scary. Like we've never done this. I mean, we do a lot of teaching online, but we never like tried to do something. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's just different. I mean, I'm working from home. I don't have the right equipment. I'm just trying it, but that's the kind of cool. Like you just try it and then you learn so much from sort
Right.
of, it's like, I love that phrase, falling forward, you know?
Yeah.
Failing forward, right? You're just messing up, but you learn so much when you do that. And I think that's so related to art making, you know, that's just built into it.
I totally agree. And you know, the other thing is this has happened so fast that it's almost like, you know, everybody's in the same boat. Just do it. It's not rocket science, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and just put, you know, it's a very, you know, something that might have been super vulnerable a month ago maybe isn't so much anymore, because there is a sense of connectedness that is coming out of this that's pretty strong.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I
Hey,
think
can
that,
you angle your camera up just so we can see see your face just while you're talking?
sure. That is my face.
There-
Yeah, so you know, trying to find this, like I said, be thoughtful and find the silver lining in all of it. I mean, the connections and that I also find that this space right here of creating and also being in my studio, it forces you to be present. And boy, I know when I'm not, because it can get really ugly really fast.
Yeah.
But that feeling is of being connected and being present with the work is really, for me, is really good stress therapy for me right now. Because it's something that I'm physically, it's something that I'm doing, you know, and being active. You get to work with all these beautiful materials and respond to the material.
Right.
And it takes you away. It gives you, you know, it's that space we always want, right? That space between being intentional and being
Yeah, it's like the flow
intuitive.
state, you know.
Like what?
Flow state, you know, where you're just
Yeah.
not worrying too much about what's happening, and you know, you just drop into your work.
Right. When I start thinking, if I can tell when I start thinking about, you know, when the judgment thing happens, and I just invite her to take a seat in the corner of the studio.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, preferably my other studio.
Yeah.
It's so exciting though to see what everybody is doing and what's coming out of this. I mean,
Yeah, totally. Yes.
yeah.
I think what I'm going to do is, there was a bunch of people that shared. I'm going to share my screen here and just show you guys. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do this.
Lisa, you could turn your camera off, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye, everybody. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll come back. We'll float back over, Stacy.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is just, you know, we got some pictures of people's, people's studios, and, you know, their kitchen tables, I should say. And this is Carmen's. And it's just kind of amazing, you know, and I get a lot of people in workshops that, or, you know, who want to take programs and they don't have a studio, and it's a real barrier.
Nick, sorry to interrupt, but could you switch your camera to your face?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
God for Ferris. Okay, hold on a second. But I can't do that. Let's see. I have to stop sharing, right?
Just stop sharing for a second. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hold on a second.
That's hard for Nick to not share.
Hold on. I don't know. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay.
Thanks for bearing with us, everyone. We're going to get through this together.
Yeah, this is learning by doing. Okay.
Now share your screen.
All right, cool. Okay, let's do this. Oh boy, okay. Yeah, so I get people, you know, like for a lot of artists, one of the reasons that they don't work is because they don't have a studio and they don't have a space, and it's really something that you can do so much just by having a corner of a table, you know. And I just thought of that today when I was looking at these, because people are setting up just, you know, they have studios or they have a corner or it's part of the bedroom. And I just love seeing everyone's studio. This is Carol's. And then here's an outside studio. And pretty great, right? Chantal's. I always kind of trip out because when I look at, you know, sometimes if you can see their artwork a little and then you see their studio, you can kind of go, oh my God, it's like there's a kind of connection to it, you know. That's a really cool shot. Yeah, so you can see people just use that kitchen table art project hashtag in Instagram or on Facebook, and that's how we were able to find these. And so if you guys listening want to share what you're making, and that way I can share it on here with everybody. That's pretty cool. Gislaine's studio. Yeah, yeah. And this is Margaret, who's on the call right now, who we'll be talking to in a minute. And Leslie's power. I love this. These are cool. Those little, it looks like she's working on just like a huge sheet of paper. Basement home studio table. Jackie Faye, nice. Jennifer, my hot mess from week 3, CVP. That's the program. CVP is the Creative Visionary Program. We're in that right now. So some of the folks who are on this call and are sharing this is kind of what people are working on a little bit here. Kitchen island table, Karen, nice. I mean, look at that, you know. Whenever I see this, it always makes me want to paint. Makes me want to work when I see like spaces with like, you know, a blank board, you know. And this is her, Laura, who works with me. This is her toddler painter table set for Gianna. Awesome. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty cool, seeing all these little places perches where people are working. That's neat. That's just collage. Working on collage today. Awesome. I gotta do more collage. And Rebecca's doing a birthday gift today. So cool. Samara, love it. Looks like all these stencils. And Sue Ellen, cool. That's pretty amazing working on that size of a painting on that table, you know, like the painting's as big as the table. More like a garage table. But you know, it works. Like, it's amazing. The feeling that you get when you're doing this stuff is the same as you know, when you're working on a large painting. It's a kind of amazing. It's just the same, totally the same feeling. I'm gonna switch my camera here. I want to show you this painting. This is a painting my dad made, and it's pretty cool. That's a painting my dad made, and I loved it at the time. And I had kind of put it away. I had forgotten that I had gotten it, and so it's kind of, he made a lot of work like this. A lot of
a little bit of the bottom is being cut off. Could you just push it up a little bit?
Oh yeah, I see that.
A little bit more. Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, it's it's not really big, but this is oil paint, and this was he did a whole series of these kind of figures, sort of Nathan Oliveira, kind of somewhat like that. So I found this, which sort of really struck me, and I just, you know, there's something so cool about having something that somebody made, you know, like it just really, you know, just like, wow. Like I can feel him so much in this. And I guess it's sort of double downing on how important this is to be making our work, you know, because when we're not here, it really is a legacy. The other thing that I want to share with you, and maybe there's some kids on the call, is I made this children's book, and this is the kind of work I used to make. I was an illustrator for a long time, and I had forgotten about this book. And the message of the book, and I'll just go through it. Show you real quick. But these pictures were done on cement board, and you know, the cement board in bathrooms. If you remodel a bathroom, they don't use sheetrock, they use cement because it doesn't rot. It's like, so I got pieces of cement, and this is acrylic on cement. They were really heavy, but I was really into scratching and sanding, and I'm just gonna, it's just a couple minutes. I'm just gonna read this, and I'm moving it so people on Instagram maybe can see it as well. And this sort of relates to now. This book is just teaching kids about being observant and being able to just look outside your window and see stuff. But so it says, there's always something new to see right outside my window. Each day, I wonder what will be right outside my window. This was my favorite picture of the whole book, this cat. I used to do a lot of like made up things, but at the time I really liked this because it was sort of sophisticated and childlike at the same time, showing Instagram people. So I was really excited about this at the time, I remember that. In spring, the wind whips up a kite right outside my window. And I had our cat in there. It's crazy because I did this a long, long time ago, and I remember doing it. I remember what the weather was like when I was doing it. I remember this painting. It was really hot and it was in summer, and silver raindrops catch the light right outside my window. Clouds sail in the summer sky right outside my window. A baby bird begins to fly right outside my window. I like this spread a lot too. I like this bird. Falling leaves drift to the ground right outside my window. A spider weaves her web around right outside my window. Snowflakes tumble soft and white right outside my window. The moon shines in to say goodnight right outside my window. Summer, autumn, winter, spring, right outside my window. What brand new changes will they bring right outside my window? And it's funny because I see this, and this reminds me of my friend's illustration, Noah Woods, I was definitely influenced by it and how he draws. And so whenever I see this, I think of my friend Noah Woods, who's an amazing artist. But anyway, so this is just about being observant, and it's sort of like there's just huge opportunity just right outside the door, you know. So I thought it was kind of appropriate, and I hadn't seen this in so long. So all right, so let me just get my palette back over here, and what I'd like to do now is Margaret. Let's talk to Margaret Bird. Margaret, do you want to turn your camera on?
Yeah,
let's see.
absolutely.
So everyone, this is Margaret, good friend of mine. Let me turn my screen here in a second. There we go.
Hey.
Hey, so Margaret's a good friend, has done a bunch of workshops, and well, why don't you just tell them what you're up to? Her work's really amazing, you guys.
Well, I want to start off by saying,
okay,
for the last 3 days, I have been sitting here painting, listening to all the CVP, LCP, and this is so much more fun. I mean, it's awesome, but it's so much more fun to have the interaction. So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
It's really, really cool. And I mean, yeah, I love it. So
yeah, so for those listening, there's a lot of people. So CVP stands for this Creative Visionary Program, and we're in about the 3rd week of it now. And so that's so I just just to let people know, because a lot of this is just everyone's on this call, people on Instagram, people on Facebook and everything. So but you're doing the program. Is this your 2nd or 3rd time?
Okay, well, it's my 3rd time, but it's really only my 2nd time, which I've already said like 10 times. Last year, unfortunately, some things happened and I had to kind of drop out. But yeah, so I'm back for my 2nd time, and I am determined, even though I was gone for the first few weeks, I'm like jumping in full force to try to work on some stuff. So everything I have here is all for that.
Okay, so you're actually working on stuff on this at this time.
Yeah, exactly. So the last 2 weeks, last week was all about play, and it was about play boards. And so I just got home, and so I actually pulled out my boards from CVP1
Oh, wow.
And decided,
Was there a
okay, which one
difference?
do
Is
I?
there a difference?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the first time I'd been away from creating for, decades. And so coming back into it and then just trying to do stuff. I have this love affair with squares, and it's always been hard for me to kind of just own that and like forget about the squiggles and the curvy linears and just like do the square thing. So this time I'm like, you know what? I'm honoring my need to make squares and rectangular shapes. So I pulled out my boards and just started painting it this week, and the playboard portion of it, they were hideous. And I was like, this is terrible. I haven't painted in so long. But then honestly, like after a couple rounds, I'm actually kind of digging them. So I even went beyond. Ended up doing 3 instead of 2, which is, you just kind of start doing stuff and it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm also on a quest to try to minimalize, or at least I say that I do. And I know when I was at Harmar with you, Nick, you're like, well, then just minimalize, but I still can't seem to do that. So my most minimal board is this
can't seem
one.
to do what? You can't seem to do
I can't
what?
seem to like stop making stuff. Like I want to make like 3 shapes. So actually, another person in CVP and I, we do this like monthly call just to kind of stay, accountable to one another. And she told me that this time my challenge that she gave me, she's like, you're only allowed to use 3 things for the rest of like a whole month of April.
Oh
so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try. Well, you know what? She's amazing, so I'm okay with that. But
can you tell us who it is so we can
it's Natalie D'Adamio.
okay, all right.
She's in the group. So we kind of buddied up about, I don't know, 6 months ago, and we talk to each other about once a month and just kind of give each other little tasks to, keep us going.
That's a great thing to do, to just have another person like, yeah.
It's been really fun. And also just, especially with, being a little bit more isolated, it's just really cool to be able to have somebody to talk to. So this was my attempt at being super minimal. So I'm getting closer.
Yeah, that's good.
Again, those are play boards, but to be honest with you, compared to CVP 1, I like them a lot more, even though I absolutely hated them the first, pass. I was like, these are disgusting. But the more I worked on them, I kind of what I did, since I'm going to stick with squares or rectangular shapes, is I've decided that I'm going to just explore the palette, and do a little bit more with, I made some palette swatches of things that were inspiring to me. That's how I worked when I was in Mexico the past couple of weeks or month. And I just kind of made these inspirational color swatches for myself. And so I'm using these mixers of colors that I somehow find inspirational together, and seeing what they look like when I actually have the paintbrush in my hand. So
Margaret, maybe a couple of questions for you, Margaret. People are wondering, first, where are you from? And then secondly, what kind of boards are you using right now?
Okay, so I am currently living in Seattle, Washington, or north of Seattle. It is pouring rain today, so it's a perfect day for this. Because I'm working in CVP, the Creative Visionary Program, I am using 12-inch wood panels. Some of these so here's the back of one. Some of these I actually got when I was on a workshop with Nick. And they're really nice, actually. I think your boards are like maybe 1/4 inch. So they're a little bit heftier, which is nice. And then I was able to buy some, I think from Blick. They're a little thinner though. I don't like them as much. I think they're an 1/8 inch. But anyway, they're 12 by 12 wood panels. And that's what we use in CVP because they're quick and easy to change. And you don't use, you are liberal with your paint, but you're not gonna like go broke by using on 12 by 12 to make quick changes. And I think the square format is actually a lot easier from a design perspective to try to make, to work on the values in your design to get it stronger. So if I'm saying it all right. That's what I think it is.
I think you got it.
So at least that's what I've learned in this third time around, you know,
Yeah,
if I'm paying attention.
Well, you know, it's funny, because well, tell the audience, you do some other kind of work too, right? I mean,
Yeah, so I am not
yeah.
a painter, by the way.
Not
I
a
am not a painter. No, I do not consider myself a painter, and sometimes I wonder why I even try. But no, my passion is actually installation art. So I am somebody who goes out and make these ephemeral sculptures out of all different kinds of things. My most recent, and I think it's going to end up being pretty much where I live for a long time, is this search for extracting color from nature. So I am interested in making things that I can leave in the environment, not worry about the toxicity. So I've been pulling color now, or searching for color now, from minerals, from earth pigments, and from botanicals. So all of that, I feel really good. I can color things, leave them out in the environment, and know that they're just going to go back into the earth and not hurt them. So I actually just came back from 3 weeks or a month in Mexico, because I was on a residency down there, and I was learning about dying from plants and insects.
Where was that residency?
In Oaxaca, outside of Oaxaca.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that was incredible. And that's like, actually, if I'm thinking about what's going on with this time, I was completely removed from sort of the escalation of what was happening. And so in my own little weird dying, you know, insect squishing, plant pulverizing world, and came back in, and what it's been surreal, but it's also been kind of, I feel like, an amazing gift for me. First of all, that I was able to go and it wasn't impacted, but then also that I can kind of swing right back in, and I have a lot more time actually to just really, with no problem, continue to create. So coming off of 3 weeks where all you're doing is creating, and going back into sort of the other lifestyle can be, you know, it can be a little bit of a shock. But this is going to allow me, and has, like, the fact that I've been able to spend 3 days just painting for CVP has been like, this is the best ever, in terms of having the time and the space to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing, because of my love of squares, and I'll just show them because I did make, so I did all textiles while I was there, but I've started making all of these, I guess you can call them collage.
Wow,
They're,
that's cool.
yeah, so it kind of unites so all of these were textiles that I hand dyed while I was in Mexico. And then it allows me to, I don't know, it's like it's brought together what I've been trying to do with paint, with my sort of more tactile need to have almost like a three-dimensional, you know, I think I probably am actually a sculptor in real life, but so this allows me to somehow combine the two, and I'm able to make these, like, work with my squares and think a lot about how to put the squares together. But what's cool is that I use all different fabrics. So I have thick fabrics, thin fabrics. So, you know, when you talk about differences, all of this stuff is what I'm doing, just I'm doing it with textiles. So it's been,
Can you hold that closer to the can you hold that closer to the camera? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really beautiful, man. I love
you.
these.
Yeah, I've been, and the thing about what I did is, you know, I started this journey about a year ago with this sort of really diving into botanical colors. And I went off to Iceland and I extracted color from weird things like seaweed. And that was amazing and beautiful, but all the colors were really subdued. In Mexico, I got to work with some really vibrant colors. And so now I have this, I've just increased my palette options, really. So it's and the thing about it is, I know I've said this before with you, Nick, is that the harmonizing that goes on in nature is like automatic. So it's almost like I can just put any two colors together, and as long as their value structure is different, they look amazing together. It doesn't matter what colors they are.
Because nature just always makes these really rich colors.
Yeah, and they're all interconnected, right? So that was the realization I had when, you know, when I first started. I was just like, holy crap, it doesn't matter what color I pick. It literally doesn't matter. Just grab 5 colors, stick them together, they look great. So I almost feel like I'm cheating.
Are those no? On those little ones you're using, so are those the dyes or the natural pigments? You're making those paintings with natural pigments?
Yeah, so these ones here, so everything that you see here is a textile that I, you know, created a dye while I was in Mexico, dyed the textile, and then I'm ripping and, you know, putting together in these small pieces, and then I'm making larger pieces as well.
I love those.
But these,
I love those.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I was pretty excited about them, actually.
Yeah.
And then I get to have cool things like, you know, I leave like, you know, little bits of textile. And the other piece I think about is like sharp edges versus like fringy edges, transparent and opaque. And I'm able to achieve all of that just by having these variations. So of textiles and then the dyes. And I think, you know, I think I worked with about 10 different dye materials, all from nature. Like I was out picking, you know, foraging ethically, picking, you know, out in the not the woods, I don't know what you call it, the brush, picking like leaves and collecting nutshells. And
so when you collect a bunch of leaves, like, okay, so you find some beautiful colored leaves, do you then just like boil them and then add, you know, olive oil, or how do you make a pigment?
No. Well, it depends. Okay, so it's so funny because I'm actually putting together an opt-in around some of this stuff, and I was talking to someone today. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many steps. How do I condense it down? And it really depends on the material, the actual organic material, right? But I would say a large portion of them is nothing more than chopping them up, putting them on the stove for like an hour, not boiling them, just letting them kind of simmer, you know, and then you choose your substrate, whatever that's going to be. And then the way you treat your substrate's not unlike what we do with, you know, different, like whether you're using boards or canvas, you know, you have to treat your substrate of some kind. So with textile, there's different things you have to do depending upon which kind of textile you're using. But I also have been pouring those dyes onto just watercolor paper, and they all make these beautiful, you know, I've just been doing this really simple series of just line drawings with them. And I mean, they're all beautiful in and of themselves. So the versatility that you have with that is pretty incredible, actually. And I'm just starting my investigation on this. I think this is going to be a lifelong thingy. So
We're getting some questions. Glenda's asking on Facebook, how long do these last? Like, do they just fade, or?
Nick, could you change your camera back to you, Nick?
Yeah,
we can see your face. You're good. You're good, Marlon. You're good. You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
I'm more
it depends.
showing my art than my face, but
that works too. Okay, for sure.
No, it's gonna change. It's gonna change.
It depends. Okay, so there are all kinds of ways in which you can make dyes more light fast. I personally like the fact that they change. So for me, where some people, like if you're doing more around, you know, more like maybe you want for clothes or things that are going to be washed on a regular basis, you have to think a little bit more. And there are certain dyes that are more light fast than others. And the way you treat your material can also change that. So I would say, you know, and then there's the difference between dye matter and pigment matter. So if you're into pigments and you want to go out and you want to grind up a bunch of, you know, ochre or anything like that, those are beautifully, they can really stay on different textiles. So that's probably, I don't know if that's a great answer. I guess the answer is it really depends and what your ultimate goal is. It's a perfect medium for me because I actually like the surprise of, I really don't know what I'm going to get. And I love that it changes over time. So,
you know, it's interesting that, you know, the work you're doing in the Creative Visionary program right now, are you struggling with color some because you're using just like store-bought color? Is that harder?
So, I mean, I'll tell you, I can't use it right out of the tube. I mean,
Right.
I have I have your Art to Life colors. And I have to mix them. I just have to immediately do a harmonizing on them. Just, put out 3 colors and then just kind of, touch each one to the other one. And I have to dull them down. And because I used to love stuff right out of the tube. And now I'm kind of like, it's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, I don't know.
That's
And I
great.
think,
I actually didn't,
yeah.
when I just showed the tabletop and the people's kitchen tabletops or your studio, and I saw all your pictures, I hadn't seen them all together, that you were really focusing on these rectangular compositions. That's cool. That was a surprise.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I decided, when I looked at my boards from 2 years ago and there was a bunch of swirls, and I was like, this is not me. That's not me. So this year I'm giving myself permission just to be me. And,
Yeah, I love that.
the combination too, I love the way they are informing each other. So this textile and dye time, the way it's informing the work that I'm doing with the acrylics, and it will all make a difference on when I go out and I do installation, because all that stuff it's all interrelated, and so,
Right.
and learning one from the other. So
Yeah.
this week I'm working on the black and white, and
Yeah.
or not this week, today, I should say. So I can point it down. They're looking a little scary, but you know what? These are just black and white.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out composition or design, values and stuff like that. Again,
Awesome.
and getting rid of all the swirls.
Yeah.
No more swirls in my world.
Well, thank you for that. That's great.
Yeah.
God, it's so cool. I love how, because when you came to that workshop a couple of years ago and you were doing the sort of earth pigments, I didn't, it wasn't entirely clear how you were going to be able to, you were kind of doing a little bit of painting and then you were doing this really different thing. But the fact that now you're taking the pigments and you're dyeing the fabric and you're turning them into compositions, like now it's all coming together for me.
You know what? It's all coming together for me.
It's so cool.
I had no idea. I had no idea this was going to end up, and and it feels like me. I feel like I said to somebody, the first, like all the stuff I did from Iceland, I made these pieces, and I was like, oh my God, it was like a light bulb went off. I was just like, I've been searching for this thing that I just made. And that, that feels really good.
Oh man, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next couple months with your work and the Creative Visionary Program. It's awesome.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to do them tandem. I'm going to be doing both.
Yeah.
But, this acrylic paint, I'm going to figure you out one day. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to hop over to Jane, and because time is just going so fast here. So Margaret, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey,
you guys want to read a couple quick little comments that people have put in? Just
please. Let's do that. Yeah.
Be quick. This is from Tina from YouTube. She writes, thank you for this. Loving the conversation with the creative being, hearing other artists talk about the art, their life, and the challenges we are all working through. This is from Cheryl Rosenfeld on Facebook. Love being present, listening, watching, and not doing. Feels so good. And then someone also asked, Nick, is your book available for purchase? I think Brandon actually dropped the link for that in the comments section. Brandon, if you're here, if you could just drop that in the link one more time. You can
I'll put that in there one more time.
All right, that's it for the comments for now.
I think my phone dropped off. I apologize on Instagram. I'm just noticing that something happened and it turned off. So I've just started it again. But anyway, so okay, well great. That's so cool. I love it. And I just so everyone, this is Jane, and Jane is actually on our Art to Life team and does all kinds of stuff with us. And so let the audience know where are you from and what's going on today.
So I am in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. It's actually almost 60 degrees today, which is great because we had snow the other day. So I'm loving it. It's just nice to actually think it might be spring outside. So yeah, you kind of posed the question on, what is
Yeah,
this?
like the silver lining question. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have teenagers, 16 and 18, and they're never ever home, and so now they're forced to be home and they're forced to hang out with me. So they're home for dinner, which is awesome. And today we actually tie-dyed some shirts and some socks outside. So it was kind of fun.
Oh, that's great. You tie-dyed?
Yeah. Yeah, I just bought a little kit, and
Yeah, right,
yeah,
right.
it was fun and messy. And so that's all working outside. And I am actually working on, I love to use transfers and I love to collage. And so I'm just working on a little piece
Oh.
here. And so it's collage, transfers, and then I've got this clay-based chalk paint that I'm using, and I love it so much because you can dilute it so that it's like a watercolor, and it retains this amazing pigment. So you can build.
What part of that painting has got the clay? You say it's clay? Is it like water-based kind of?
So it is a water-based paint. Here, I'll just kind of switch it down so you can see, but
Yeah, that's cool.
I just got like a little nonstick mat here, and I have like this little mister, and you can make so many different washes and things with it, and then you can just build your color as you go. So it's really, really fun to work with. And then I've got these things that are really cool. I don't even really remember where I got them. I've had them for so long, but they are these, they're like a metal stencils, and they're from like old produce. Like I imagine they use them on like the crates that they, kind of used to use to ship produce. Aren't those cool?
Yeah.
So I just use
Did
them.
you get those in like at a flea market, or were those?
Yeah,
Are
I
those
think
really
I did
made?
get them at a flea market, actually. I've had them honestly for probably 15 years now, and you can tell that I've used them a ton, and they're really floppy. But I was thinking about maybe adding some of those on there. I've got some like a texture paste that I might kind of put on ahead of time. So I'm not sure. I'm kind of the person that I get all my materials around me and just make stuff. I just kind of see what happens. So.
Yeah, right, right. And so you like to do a bunch of, you're sort of DIY, you just like to make stuff. You do a lot of your painting is on furniture, on boxes, on things, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of mixed media too. I've been doing mixed media for probably 20 plus years. And then, yeah, for the last 10 years, I've been painting a lot of furniture. But I'm kind of transitioning back out of that, which is just fine. It's good. I've been doing a lot of encaustic lately. So like, I love my little birds. I make little birds all the time, and I love to do transfers. And so I guess I've just been loving to play with encaustics lately. I have a ton of different colors, and I'm just playing around, and that's the best. Having time to do that.
Yeah.
And just seeing what you could make it do. I've got irons and blowers and all kinds of different tools to, mash in and scrape back, and it's just really fun.
And you're kind of like, you got your own thing going, but you're also doing the CV Creative Visionary program as well, and that's different for you. Like, how's all that feeling?
It is different. The thing that's not different though is that I have always been somebody that will just play. So that part I'm loving. So yeah, it definitely is challenging me in ways, and I'm more present, especially now that we're kind of stuck here at home. And if I want to get away from the kids and the husband, I just close my door and kind of have at it. So
Right, exactly. Right.
I will see you guys later.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
I love what you're doing there.
Yeah, well, this is a different one. It's just got it's just getting kind of different over here. Totally.
Yeah, super fun.
I had the other one going, which is from before, but I need this one. I'm going to work on this one. I like to have a couple going because I get so impatient,
Right.
and I I'm just so impatient and I have to like keep going. And once it gets really all wet, then I can't really work on it anymore. But
Yeah. One thing that I've been loving is just finding random stuff around the house to make things on. And I just had like this kind of really crummy, just broken board. And, you know, I'm just loving just kind of collaging on it and using different transfers and paint. And I got this really great wax. It's like a verdigris. I don't know. Let me look at
Now
the
you gotta-
color on this. Look at this. Isn't that amazing?
so
So you can
tell
still see.
people the name of it because everyone wants to know the name and also the name of the clay stuff again.
Okay, so the clay-based paint, it's DIY paint.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, DIY.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And this is also from the same company. And look at that. So when you put it on, it's transparent, but it still has, you know, that color. So you're kind of, it builds depth and it's just so beautiful. I actually have it on here. You can kind of see.
Yeah.
I just added it around, you know, and you can, it really makes it pop. So I don't know. I just love to play and explore and have fun. And that's kind of how I've always created.
And you're not, you know, one thing about you, Jane, which I love, and I think why you're such a great part of Art to Life is like, how come you're not afraid of doing stuff? Like, what do you, you know, like, because it's kind of scary to try new things, but you just don't seem to be too concerned with that. I'm just wondering, is it what you're eating or, you know, what, can you give us some tips?
I don't know. It's probably just from life experience, you know. I've overcome a lot of barriers and I, you know, I guess I don't really care anymore, you know? I mean, I think, you know, I think about my daughter who's 16 and like everybody else's opinion matters so much at that age. And, you know, as you just kind of go along, it's like, I don't know. I don't care anymore. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, no, totally. I get it. Yeah.
yeah, and I also, you know, just, I think the authenticity of, you know, knowing who you are and then having that time to sort of play around in your art, it brings more authentic work.
Also, something that I've, you know, noticed is like, I had a little thing where there was a party there was a thing that I didn't get invited to, you know, this is a few weeks ago or whatever. And it was like, you know, how that like everyone gets invited to the birthday party, but you don't kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it always feels, you know, things can feel like that. And it's, you know, it did kind of like, I don't know, I was surprised at how much I cared about it. But now, given like what everything's happening and kind of the intensity of what's going on,
Yeah.
like these things are really dumb and they're really small, you know,
Yeah.
and I think it's really helping me a lot to be like, you know what, why would you spend even a minute thinking about this? We're just so fortunate to even like be here, you know, because so many people are struggling with this. And, you know, I just,
So true.
it's just kind of like maybe take things way less serious or just focusing on what is important, you know. Like,
And that idea of just like slowing down, like I'm thinking about, you know, because my kids are in high school and stuff, like all the sports and you got to be here and you got to go there and, you know, you've gone for the weekend and, you know, not doing anything. And then they got to do homework. And it's like, it's just so crazy all the time. You're like on a wheel, you know, that never stops. And this is forcing us to stop.
Yeah.
So I think for me, there's nothing but good that's going to come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are asking what that red plastic piece you're using is. Could you tell
Oh
them?
yeah, this is a little squeegee. And I wish I had my other ones here. Next week I'm going to bring a few more things that I like to use. This is basically, you guys, this is like a credit card. It's a piece of plastic and you can use a credit card, but it's really nice for smoothing out the paint. And I'm seeing that this is like almost burning out, isn't it, Ferris? The light's so bright in here, huh? It's all white. But
it is, if you could maybe, it's probably from the sun coming from behind you. So maybe adjust turning off the light that you have on your your art right now.
It's not on there. It's not on there. But maybe if I sit and I block it a little, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why it's burning out like that.
Without me being there, there's
Yeah.
you can't do
Yeah.
my tricks, unfortunately. You have no additional light on top of your art right now?
No, but it's just, I think it's just white. It's just reflecting strongly. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, so this is just it's a squeegee. You can get these at any paint store, like house painting store. They come in, there's different sizes and it's pretty cheap. It's just kind of a flexible plastic thing. I like to put the paint on and then kind of smear it. You see, I do that a lot. It sort of takes your hand out of it. I wanted to show my sketchbook here while I got a second. I keep finding these things. First of all, so in that kid's book, in that children's book, I don't know if you can see this, I have, this was my daughter, I think this was from Lila, who she's 28 now, but this was a drawing she did that she gave me. And I found it in that kid's book, which is pretty neat. It says to Dad, Lila. And I think that is those little kids there behind that person. That's Hannah and Lila, my two kids.
Oh, I love that so much.
And it says the little fancy restaurant. The restaurant is spelled completely wrong. You know, it's restaurant. That's pretty funny.
That is awesome.
Yeah, but was that?
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. My apologies. I'll ask afterwards. There's a question for Jane, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I just was going to share you. This was one of my sketchbooks, and I opened it up and I hadn't looked at this for a long time, and it's just crazy. I was doing a lot of drawing, and this was a long time ago. But you can see even here, or at least I can, the sort of some of the stuff that I'm doing now in my work, and this was 20 years ago. So it's pretty wild. And anyway, these are the kind of things that I was just playing around with, being really loose and experimental and a lot of drawing. So go ahead and ask that question with Jane.
People want to know the colors that you're using with your paint right now, Jane.
Okay, so one is called Apothecary. This has got to be one of my favorites. It's such a beautiful color. Can you see that? Is it getting washed out? And then the other one is called Bohemian Blue. Let me hold that one up. It's a really beautiful color as well. And these are two colors that I love to use together because they blend so well together. So, and then I just have this little mister and I just can keep spraying. And what's awesome about this paint is that if it dries and you don't top coat it, you can spray it with water and it reactivates right away. So you can rework it instantly. So that's what I love. I like instant gratification. So,
Yeah.
So that's why I love it so much. But yeah, the stencil turned out pretty cute.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm just glazing my picture right here. It's a little strong, but I'm gonna just take some of this dark color and put it on here.
And you're just using water to create that glaze now?
Yeah, it's just water and dark paint. And I'm gonna, boy, I need different, I'm gonna just put some scrapes in here. Just use my Swiss Army knife here, my corkscrew opener. But I want to put some lines in my picture. And so I'm gonna scrape into the actual painting.
I actually just saw a question. Somebody was asking me to tell them more about the wax and can you paint over it? And you cannot.
Yeah, talk about that.
You can't paint over the wax. It has to be last. It definitely acts as a resist. So if you put paint over it, you can wipe it off with anything, and so that'll, that won't be a good thing. But
and have you ever used oil paint?
I have, yeah, way back when I was in art school, way back when. And I'm not a fan because it's not quick enough.
What?
It's not quick enough. I'm not, like the gratification of being done or wanting to work it more. So yeah, I'm choose acrylics or, you know, things like this.
Yeah. Well, shoot, you know, we have a few minutes. I want to hop over and see what Terry's working on, and let's just wrap this up. But I want to see what Stacy, and go back to Terry here real quick.
Awesome.
Jane, thanks for being here. It's really fun. Really
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it was awesome.
awesome. All right. Hey,
Yeah,
Terry.
so hey, I
What's
was
so-
charging my other earbud because it was like losing and dying, so I only have one.
Have you been working while you've been on this call a little bit?
It's amazing. Remember when we did that experiment where we just like talked and we painted and just lost ourselves and we listened and we didn't think, you know? So I've just been like doing some doodling, or not doodling, but painting in my sketchbook.
Hold
That
that
one's,
closer up. Hold that closer up.
Oh.
Is that what we saw earlier?
no, that's a new one,
Yeah, yeah.
but just some fun. I'm a shape person like Margaret.
I was
And
going
then
to
I've just
say,
been-
this is why I love your work so much.
And then I've just been like reworking this one. And I've just noticed that they kind of make a nice little pair maybe together, color palette wise. Just been kind of playing with those two. And then, yeah, I didn't really resolve anything else on the other ones yet. But that's kind of, oh wait, one more, let's see. Nope, that was it.
So you haven't painted in this little new home studio too much, except now you have been.
Yeah, I hardly ever paint at home, ever paint at home. Actually, I was doing some color mixing too while you were talking, which was really fun to just take some reds and yellows and see what colors you could make. And I'd add some blacks and whites. So just some beautiful colors. I love this one. You know me and my muted grays, right,
Yeah.
Margaret?
Yes, and I was thinking about your muted grays as I was working on my pieces. I'm like, I gotta get some gray in there.
I know, I love that color. So, but yeah, just it's been great to just kind of lose yourself and just listen and paint and hear what everybody else is doing, because we're all so unique. You know, we only make the work that is us, and it's only I can only make my work, Margaret can only make hers, Jane, Stacy, you, Ferris, you're an artist, Brandon is a beginning artist, they're on the call in the background as well. And you know, we just we make our art that is us. And it's kind of a struggle today for me to jumpstart again and not have all my tools that I'm used to grabbing, you know, like.
But you kind of figure it out, you know, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, look at you, like you've got that figured out. That's awesome. So, I
like the palette better than the painting, way better. When I look at my
really,
camera, this is more interesting to me than this over here, but I'm gonna make this more like that now. That's my goal.
Wait, you're gonna make which one more like which one?
I like the palette. I like this
Oh.
better than the painting.
That's so funny. You know what? It's so funny because it's small for me because I'm on a different view probably than the people watching. So I thought that was two paintings sitting there for a minute, but now I see what it is. That's funny.
I wish I could.
Well, just take it up and stamp it.
Yeah, I probably should do that. Yeah, but I'll get it all over the carpet, so I can't, you know.
Oh yeah, don't get on your carpet. God forbid, don't do that. You don't put plastic down?
No, I just went for it. Yeah, I probably need to. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess in here.
I know.
One other question actually for Jane. A couple people actually want to know what brand of paint she was using, and then it seemed like she was finished. What she ended up. Oh, she actually ended up answering this, I think. But just one more time, what was the name of that brand of paint that you used?
So it's the DIY paint. Debbie's Design Diary DIY paint. So I retail it at my store. There's a ton of retailers all over the country. They're shipping right now. They are taking all these different precautions. And what's awesome for us as retailers is they're drop shipping for us. So I don't have to like travel to my store and grab it and put it in a box, you know, because we're not really supposed to be moving around. So
Oh, right.
yeah, it's really awesome that they're doing that for us. And, you know, we're hoping that can continue because people need to create.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for that.
And you know, Nick, also, could you just remind people also what the hashtag they can use is for?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I get so focused on my painting. It's crazy. So yeah, if you want to, so how this has been going or what we're going to do here. First of all, you can learn about this whole thing if you go to kitchentableartproject.com. Then you can find all the links and you'll see what we're going to be focusing on for next week. It'll be kind of the same thing, but on Sunday on my vlog, I'll be talking about what we're going to be talking about, the theme, and we'll have some other artists on this call on Wednesday. But if you want to share what you've been making today, which would be great, you can use the hashtag Kitchen Table Art Project, hashtag Kitchen Table Art Project, and you can put it in Instagram or you can put it in the Facebook group. And that way we'll find it, because that people, and if you want, you can join the Arts Alive Facebook group. If you go to that, URL, kitchentableartproject.com, there's a link to do that. Just a lot of people in there. It's free, it's fun, but people are posting work in there as well. So yeah, that's it. And it's just really, that's it. It's just really fun to just connect with people. And I hope this was been really fun for you guys. I've loved seeing all the comments, and I got distracted painting, so I didn't pay a lot of attention. But,
hey, Nick, I just wanted to add something too,
yes,
that the Art to Life team, what's that?
Turn your camera on.
Oh, okay. The Art to Life team is going to be looking at those hashtags, and we're going to be picking one to feature on the Art to Life Instagram account.
Yeah, we're going to take some. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments. We're just figuring this out. Yeah, we can have all the people turn all their cameras on right now who've been on the call. That's fine.
Oh, and also we're going to be featuring some of those in Instagram stories, but one will be picked to be put in our feed and promoted, but they'll be in Instagram stories. So everybody should look at the Instagram account and just watch for the stories.
And this is
on the Art to Life World Instagram account.
Yeah, and Kathy is saying, was this recorded? So it is recorded. It's available, and I hope, Laura, I hope I get it right. It's going to be on the Facebook, right?
It's available on the Art to Life Facebook page. That's different from the group. The Facebook page is free, so you don't need to request to join. You just got to go there. Now, if you don't have a Facebook account or you're not comfortable with using Facebook, you can also watch it on YouTube and the Art to Life channel.
Yes, and that's recorded and it's streamed there as well. So you can go to the on YouTube. You can go there. A lot of people are watching from YouTube right now, actually. So shout out to them. But yeah, so that this will be available, and I know we're talking about, oh, I'm using this kind of paint. It's a little hard to like catch it, but you can kind of go back in the comments and see it perhaps, or listen, and we're just trying to figure it out so you can get the materials. And yeah, because there's a lot of, there's so many things you learn just listening to people, all the different ways they're working, and it's really cool. Brandon, thank you for being here. Super appreciated. And Ferris, thanks for helping with this. Been really, really fun. Tune in on the vlog on Sunday. We send that out. You can go to the Art to Life website, and I'll be talking about what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday, and just sharing a little bit of, I think I'm not going to give it away. It's a surprise. So, but we got some really cool people lined up for next week. Oh, that's how it came out?
Yeah, I created just building layers. It's so fun to work while you're listening to everybody else.
Yeah, it is.
Get lost in that space.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to keep working here for a while longer, but thank you guys for being here. Really, really fun. And we will talk to you real soon. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.